It's getting crazy. It's getting spooky real fast. Very, very fast. I told y'all, people have had enough. All of y'all in the Indiana Fever organization who have been lying about this girl injury, not being transparent, and all these things that the fans are feeling, the fans are speaking back. They do not appreciate it. They feel scammed, they feel lied to, and they feel used.
It seems like the Indiana Fever front office and Stephanie White may have pulled off one of the most questionable moves in WNBA history. Instead of being upfront about Caitlin Clark's injury, they appeared to downplay or hide key details, hoping fans wouldn't notice. But of course, people did. The evidence is piling up. Video clips, photos, and conflicting timelines that just don't match. To many, it looks less like transparency and more like damage control. And in today's world, where every statement can be fact-checked instantly, those inconsistencies aren't just embarrassing, they're potentially serious. Some fans are even questioning whether this borders on misleading consumers, since people bought tickets, watched games, and purchased merchandise under assumptions that may not have been accurate.
Urge DOJ and FTC to investigate WNBA's misleading practices. Wow. So we are here now. And what's crazy about all of this is that, guys, this is I'm not going to come on here and say that they're going to lose, because if there was an investigation going into this team, they're not going to lose this investigation. Oh, they're going to win. Whoever is representing Caitlin is going to win.
This isn't just a small mistake. It's a full-on credibility problem. Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White went in front of the media and laid out a timeline for Caitlin Clark that sounded polished, but the details don't line up. And when your story doesn't match what fans can clearly see, people are going to call it out. So, what do you think? Do you still have confidence in the Fever's front office and Coach White? Drop your thoughts in the comments.
The Caitlin Clark injury situation is officially a mess because not only is there not more clarity, there's more confusion about what her timeline could be. And that's coming on the heels of it seeming to be pretty clear when Clark would return to the court, or about when she would return to the court. It was said on the ESPN broadcast on August 12th that Stephanie White hoped Clark would be back in practice this week. Open portion of practice, Clark is not seen. And Stephanie White afterwards said it's status quo until Clark is back at practice.
Let's go back to the start. Clark hurt her groin, not related to a J.C. Sheldon knee, during a mid-July game, and at the time, a late August return seemed possible. She was listed as day-to-day, with team practices expected to ramp up soon. But now, as August draws to a close and she still hasn't been back on the court, a new injury suddenly comes into play. The official story is straightforward. Clark got hurt during a workout around August 7th. Clean, simple, PR-friendly. The catch? Footage from that same day shows Clark strolling through Phoenix, carrying a Prada bag, moving easily with no sign of pain, limping, or discomfort. Fans saw it, and the clips speak for themselves.
Well, what changed? Right? I know there's never been a direct timeline, but all the signs seem to point in the direction of Clark returning soon. Even Natasha Howard saying, "See you soon, Cece." Now it's like, wait and see. And there's further information coming out that Clark suffered a bit of an ankle injury in the midst of her recovery process. Did that hinder her return? One reporter saying yes, another reporter is saying no. Bottom line is, we need to know a little bit more. We don't need Caitlin Clark's in-depth medical report, but it's fair for fans to wonder if the Fever and the league's biggest star is going to return to the floor this season, or what the chances are. And she's been out of action for 5 weeks, so it's not as if some patience hasn't been expressed.
Instead of acknowledging that the story didn't add up, White and her PR team dug in even deeper. That's when things really started to feel like a circus. Reporters like Scott Agnes went on air retelling Clark's latest injury and laughing, not the nervous kind of laugh, but the genuine, almost mocking type, as if her setback was a punchline. Are we really meant to accept that the league's biggest star, the player driving record-breaking ratings, is sidelined while the media treats it like a joke? That's not just unprofessional, It's disrespectful to both the fans and Clark herself.
The Indiana Fever's got $1 billion entity on their team. $1 billion damn dollars. And they're a bunch of clowns, a bunch of bozos. You guys look completely incompetent and unprofessional. The way this has been handled, oh, it's a joke. It's a joke. Look, and look, they can't say anything about conspiracy theories. You're complicit in creating them because you won't be open and you won't be honest.
This is why the Fever's credibility is taking a nosedive. Spinning a story is one thing. Every team does it. But outright bending the truth and smirking while doing it? That's basically sending a message to fans. We think you'll buy whatever we say. Here's the reality. Fans aren't falling for it. Social media never forgets, and people are connecting the dots in real time.
You got this video right here that a lot of you have already seen. I just saw it in the last couple of days of Caitlin getting stepped on by a coach right there on the left.
Stepped on by the coach, and I think she's going to be all right based upon the grin on her face. But
the left foot, the one that's got the issue, she got stepped on. And today, I'm not even going to say Indiana Fever fans, Caitlin Clark fans are crashing out at a different level. And I don't blame them. I don't.
And here's the part they really don't want fans to focus on. The moment assistant coach Vaughn January accidentally stepped on Caitlin Clark's foot during a game. That incident didn't vanish. It just got overshadowed by this workout injury story. Now the dates don't line up. The day Clark supposedly got hurt conflicts with what fans actually witnessed. So, which is it, an innocent workout accident or an injury caused by the very staff responsible for her safety? If it's the latter, this isn't just bad luck. It's potential negligence, the kind that could spark a serious investigation.
You guys have said Caitlin Clark was day-to-day for I don't know how long. You guys have fabricated timelines on her injury many times throughout this season. And the people have just flat out had enough. And it's gone so far.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has been caught up in the PR whirlwind, repeating carefully crafted talking points that feel less like her and more like something written by a Fever intern. Every update on her recovery sounds the same. Working hard, feeling good, just some bad luck. The repetition comes off as robotic, the timing feels off, and fans can tell the difference between genuine honesty and a scripted spin.
This practice isn't just disappointing, it's deceptive. Fans invested their hard-earned money in tickets, streaming packages, and merchandise under the belief that they were being given honest information. Instead, it appears coordinated efforts were made between the league and team communications to present a facade of hopeful updates, masking the true status of a beloved player's injury.
Let's be clear, Clark isn't a rookie. She's in her second season, the league's biggest star, and she's earned every bit of attention by packing arenas and driving record-breaking WNBA ratings. Yet here she is, seemingly treated like a disposable piece in a messy cover-up. Imagine if in the NBA a coach or staff member had injured LeBron James or Steph Curry and then lied about it. There would be non-stop coverage, immediate investigations, and likely firings. In the WNBA, though, there's mostly silence. Little accountability, little transparency, and reporters acting more like unpaid interns than watchdogs.
Everybody's been hanging on. And even worse, everybody's been spending money on this team, which looks like a damn scheme at this point. The Indiana Fever know people have been spending money on tickets and travel and blah, 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 thinking that Caitlin Clark was her anticipated comeback. People tuning in and showing up at games, they need to understand that was because the idea, the aura that Caitlin Clark was coming back to lead this team into the playoffs.
The Fever's credibility is in tatters, and Stephanie White is right in the middle of the controversy. Her attempt to redirect attention with a false timeline isn't just sloppy. It could cross the line into misleading behavior. When a team sells tickets, promotes games, and markets merchandise around a star player, then gives fans a false picture of her health, that can fall under deceptive consumer practices. It's exactly the type of conduct that could draw scrutiny from watchdogs, sponsors, and even legal authorities.
Goes on to say fans felt excited when they purchased tickets, believing they'll watch Caitlin Clark shine on the court. However, that excitement turned to disappointment as misleading injuries kept fueling false hopes that she had played the WNBA and hold up. Damn, is they finna get a for line? Is they finna get a for line to the fans? Oh my God. Hold up. The WNBA and Indiana Fever Indiana Fever have repeatedly engaged in what seems to be a strategic ploy to drive ticket sale and merchandise sales by suggesting that Caitlin Clark return was on the horizon. Holy-ish right now, bro. Oh my God, it's about to get red.
And here's the juiciest theory going around right now. Maybe this isn't just a string of mistakes, it's deliberate. Clark burst into the league like a tidal wave, smashing ratings and rewriting expectations. But almost immediately, the whispers began. She needs more muscle, more strength. She's not ready. So what happens? She's pushed to bulk up, her body starts to break down, and suddenly her second season is overshadowed by injury concerns. That's not random bad luck. It's poor planning. And poor planning always has someone responsible. In this scenario, the spotlight falls squarely on Stephanie White and her staff.
I feel like they were lying about her injury as far as like the severity of it. I think it's a really bad injury. I think when they rushed her back that one time, I think she hurt it even more and it pushed the timeline back.
Trying to come back and come back quickly. She needs to make sure that she's 100%. Her competitor wants to play. We're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness is the most important thing.
As bad as it might sound, I think it might be like a season-ending level type of injury and they're hoping to get in the playoffs and they can somehow get her during the playoffs.
Fans are openly suggesting that Caitlin Clark should ditch the Fever's medical team and return to doctors in Iowa she can trust. And honestly, it's not hard to see why. If the front office is being less than truthful about when she got injured, what else might they be hiding? Are they downplaying the seriousness? Rushing her back to boost ticket sales? These aren't far-fetched conspiracy theories. They're genuine concerns raised by fans because the Fever have yet to give a straight answer. Their silence speaks louder than any scripted update, and to many, it feels like a cover-up.
And the craziest thing about this last groin injury with Caitlin Clark is how it's been covered. The day after she had the groin injury, she was listed as day-to-day. And then a couple weeks after that, then she was listed to being out indefinitely. Now, ESPN had August 12th as the circled return date for Caitlin Clark to get back onto the court. And just yesterday, she was listed as a game time decision for today's game against the Dallas Wings. And then after practice yesterday, Coach Stephanie White basically came out and said, like, no, Caitlin Clark hasn't even been practicing, so they changed it from a game time decision to her being out.
Stephanie White seemed to think she could step up, flash a smile, and sell fans the workout injury story as if no one would notice. But the more she repeats it, the more holes appear in the narrative. And here's the problem. Each time she doubles down, she makes herself and the entire franchise look less trustworthy. Instead of protecting Caitlin, White is undermining her own credibility and dragging the Fever into controversy. Fans aren't blind to this. They're frustrated. They've seen Clark endure tough defense, questionable calls, and rival teams targeting her, and now they're watching her mishandled by her own organization. Imagine being one of the most hyped women's basketball players in decades, breaking attendance and TV viewership records, only to have your injury misrepresented. That's not just poor management, it's malpractice. It's exactly how you put a superstar's career at risk before she even hits her peak.
This has been all over the place, and I get it to a certain extent. The fans, the media does not need to know every little thing that's going on with Caitlin Clark's injuries, especially a star player like that. We will never know all the information, nor should we know all the information, and that's actually good for Caitlin. It protects her for when she does come back on the court. She can't be targeted. Teams can't use a certain injury or ailment against her if people don't really know what is going on. But the reporting of her timeline in general, there has been no rhyme or reason to what has been shared about it.
Here's why this goes beyond just the Fever. Caitlin Clark is the WNBA right now. She's the driving force, the reason casual fans even tune in. Her presence fills arenas, boosts TV ratings, and keeps sponsors invested. Take her out, and the consequences are immediate. Attendance drops, viewership declines, and major corporate partners start pulling back. That's why Stephanie White's attempted cover-up isn't just a PR misstep. It could qualify as consumer deception. If fans are buying tickets expecting Clark to play when the organization knows she won't, that's essentially false advertising, and it's exactly the kind of behavior that can trigger formal investigations.
When does this happen in sports, where someone this valuable suffers an injury and you don't tell people about it until 2 weeks later, once speculation about Caitlin Clark starts running rampant? Once people start finally muster up the courage to say, hey, this is weird. Caitlin Clark has disappeared and vanished. She doesn't talk to reporters. We're getting no legitimate information from anybody in the Indiana Fever organization. This is the biggest star in sports.
But stepping back, this is bigger than a single lie. It reflects a broader culture of disrespect toward Caitlin Clark since she entered the league. From referees missing obvious fouls, to commentators overanalyzing every shot, to rival players targeting her physically, she's faced it all. Now, her own coach is adding falsehoods to the mix. It almost seems coordinated, like the league is wary of her stardom. Yet here's the twist. Every attempt to dim her shine only makes her fan base louder, more loyal, and more defiant. Still, the risks are real. Caitlin Clark isn't invincible, she's human. Every mishandled injury, every rushed comeback, every questionable media spin chips away at her long-term career. That's the nightmare scenario. The WNBA's brightest are forced into an early decline because her own team wasn't honest or careful. And if that happens, the backlash against Stephanie White and the Fever won't just be intense, it could be historic.
Look, anybody who saw this could have maybe thought something was up. Breanne January stepping on Caitlin Clark here. August 9th. Left ankle. That's where the bone bruise supposedly happened. On August 7th, which is what is being shared now. And, you know, some of these things you hear rumblings about, and you don't know exactly what's going on.
And by lying, White has already set herself up for backlash. This wasn't just a cover-up, it was lighting a fuse. Now, every statement she makes is under intense scrutiny. Reporters beyond Indiana are paying attention, and once national outlets start digging, this story could blow up. When that happens, the Fever won't just be facing frustrated fans. They could see sponsors pulling support, uncontrollable media scrutiny, and even league or federal investigations into possible deceptive practices.
WNBA, y'all have to figure it out. The people have had enough. I'm going to let you know exactly what I'm talking about. This thing is picking up steam, and it's a bad look. It's a bad look. It's a bad look, all because you guys refuse to be transparent about Caitlin Clark injuries and injuries around the league.
Let's be clear. This isn't just a PR problem. It could cross into legal territory. Selling tickets, broadcasts, or merchandise based on a star player, while knowingly misrepresenting her availability, falls under consumer fraud. If regulators or watchdog groups get involved, the Indiana Fever and Stephanie White won't just be dealing with bad press. They could face serious, formal investigations.